Welcome, folks. Um, this is the market review for Wednesday for pound USD. So today we had with potential, we had two trades that we were supposed to have taken. So we had these run to the downside, taking out these lows and trading inside these fair value gap. So we had that run to the downside at exactly 215. So we had the aggressive run to the downside. So after taking out these lows, we were anticipating for a run higher to take out this high during the London Open. So we had this run to the downside and then push to the upside, trading inside. Here we had yesterday we had created a fair value gap right there, as you can see. So and if you were to take that, we had also we had this order block right there. So we had that. So during London Open, we traded inside the fair value gap, and as you can see, our price respected the midpoint. It traded to the midpoint, to the tick. We had that. So with that being said, then we had these could be targeting these lows. Maybe eventually we had volume imbalance right there, so that could have been a draw on liquidity. So we had this. So we had this volume imbalance extended through. So that could have been your target, or maybe this low, or maybe the midpoint of this week, because we treat weeks the same way we treat gaps. So we had that. So we had two trades. We had this buy, which was a potential Judas swing to the upside. So we had that, and then we had this run to the downside. So we had that, and this being our target, and also this fair value gap, these lows, the midpoint of this week, and also we had this inversion fair value gap right there. So we had that. So we could be aiming for that also. So we had that. So if we go over to the 1 minute chart, you see what happened. So we had this. After I took out the sell side right there at around 215, around there. So we had a shift in market structure right there, and then it left us a fair value gap. So we had that. So our entry would be in this fair value gap. So we had that, and also we had this inversion fair value gap. And also, as you can see, before this move to the upside, we had cleared the sell side right there below this low. So there was no need for price wanting to come back below these lows. So we had that. We had an inversion fair value gap. We had a market structure shift. Then that was the entry. So that was the long entry. So we had that, and your stop be placed around below that low. What could we be aiming for? Aiming for this high, which would have yielded a 5.22 risk to reward. And if you could have held the fair value gap, that would have been see the midpoint, that would have been a 6.81. R trade. So we had that. So this was a good buy for a good sell. So that's it. Then we had during the London Open, notice that we had a shallow run above this high, and then price came back to a deep discount, traded inside as you can see, this is an order block. We had that, so price came inside that, traded inside this is fair value gap, and also we had an inversion fair value gap right here. So we traded inside that, and then move to the upside, taking out both these relative equal highs, and eventually trading inside these FVG. So we had that. So during at this time it was around 317. So we had a push to the upside, trading the midpoint of these fair value gap and the midpoint of, you can say, the 75% of these lower half of this fair value gap. So we had that. Also we had an inversion fair value gap. As you can see, it is quite tiny, but we had an inversion fair value gap right there. So when price traded down, didn't respect that, and then we had this push to the upside. We had now a fair value gap right there, and also we had this inversion fair value gap. So that could have been your entry, maybe above in this candle, or maybe inside this run high. So you had that. So that would have been your entry right there. Your stop be placed above that high, and could be aiming for this liquidity void, volume imbalance. So we had that. So that's exactly 11R trade, plus here we had a 6.8. so we had a total of 17.8 1 R trade. So that was quite profitable for the day. Then we had traded inside that gap during New York Open. New York today has been quite sloppy, but yeah, still pushing. As you can see, no clean price action, but yeah, we're doing something. Really taking out these lows right there. Notice that we traded back inside this, and there was no candle close below that volume imbalance. So we had that. Then we had a market structure shift right there. We had this as an entry, and then we expect price to go above these highs. So we have that as an ongoing trade. So yeah, that's it. That's it for Pound USD. And until I talk to you next time, be safe.